So this is about being a victim to our emotions and a victim to how we feel and being forced to feel certain ways when things happen in our life. And yeah, this may be a bit deep, but I think sometimes when we really engage with some deep thought processes, we can make huge strides and huge progress in the way we think, particularly after our partner, husband, wife has died. So before I get into the main body content of this, please remember to subscribe with the little red button which is below me and click the bell icon and you will be notified when these videos go live. So I hear it so often, and I said it as well, that my partner, my husband, wife has died and it makes me feel lost, alone, desperate, all sorts of things. Now that's quite a tricky subject to deal. So I'm going to deal with. So I'm going to start with an example that was actually given to me last week, which I absolutely love. And I'm going to start off with a really simple example of being a victim to our emotions, and perhaps track it through to something that's a bit more of a challenge. So the example that was given to me was someone had their son, a little boy, who was at school at a very early age, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, something like that. And he was given a exercise to do at home, and he was given a card, and on a card was a picture of a chocolate cake. And his exercise for that evening, or his homework for that evening, was to complete the sentence that was written underneath the chocolate cake on this card. And that sentence was, "This chocolate cake makes me feel blank." And the little child had to think of an example, and he could have written hungry, happy, full, all sorts of things. And the presenter that was talking about this, and this is where kind of the inspiration for this video has come from, said, well, my son wrote, "This chocolate cake makes me feel hungry," for example. But does it actually make you feel hungry? Or actually is it, when I look at the chocolate cake, I can feel hungry. When I look at that chocolate cake, I can feel happy. And that's very, very different from saying the chocolate cake makes me feel happy. Because in that instance, I have no agency over my happiness. I have no control over my happiness because the chocolate cake makes me feel happy. Whereas if I rephrase that and say, when I look at the chocolate cake, I feel happy, I have the agency over the happiness. It is me that is looking at the cake and I am feeling happy. Now, I might say that chocolate cake triggers some certain emotions in me, and I recognize that I have been triggered. And one of my triggers is when I see a chocolate cake, I feel happy. But again, the chocolate cake has no agency over me. The chocolate cake does not control me and does not control my emotions. If I say the chocolate cake makes me feel happy, then I'm a victim to the chocolate cake. Oh, to be a victim to a chocolate cake. But I'm a victim to the chocolate cake. I'm going to have agency over my feelings and agency over my emotions. And the same thing works through as we get into more deep subjects. So it may be I had a conversation with someone and that person made me feel angry. Okay, so we could use the same example. Did they actually make me feel angry? Because if they made me feel angry, then I'm a victim to this other person. Whereas if I say I was having a conversation with this person and I felt angry, then I have agency over my anger. I have agency over however I feel. I might say, when I was having a conversation with this person, something that was said, I recognize triggered something within me. I have one of these triggers that when someone says this, I'm triggered. And I recognize that I had a trigger, and then I felt angry. So I have agency over that anger. I'm not a victim to that other person or to the anger. I have agency over it. And as soon as I have agency over my feelings, agency over my emotions, agency over what happens to me, I can then start to dig a bit deeper. So in this example, this person said something to me and it triggered something within me. And when it was triggered within me, I felt anger. I can start to look at those triggers within me. I can start to deal with it myself. I can start to think, well, where do those triggers come from? What are those triggers? Can I look for ways to mitigate those triggers? Whereas if I say that person makes me feel angry, I'm an absolute victim to it. Every time they do it, I'm going to feel anger. And we can move this principle on deeper and deeper in life, sometimes get into really difficult subjects. So the subject around grief and loss, my partner, husband, wife has died, and it makes me feel sad, lonely, is much more challenging. It's so much more challenging. However, the reality is that if we say this event happened and it makes me feel sad, lonely, happy, then we have no agency over our emotions. That event will always be that event. It's not going away. And if that event has the control, I am a victim to it and I will be a victim forever. However, if I say this event happened, and when that event happened, it triggered some things in me, and I feel sad, I feel lonely, I can look at those triggers and I can understand those triggers, and I have agency over the way I feel and the way I think. And I'm not a victim to those things that have happened to me. It doesn't take those things away. It doesn't mean those things are less important. It doesn't mean anything about that event at all. It's about doing the work on myself to have agency over the way I feel. It's a challenge. I totally get that. I recognize that. It's a challenge every day. And sometimes we slip. And something happens and we start to go, oh, that thing's happened. It makes me feel sad. It makes me feel angry, whatever it is. But just remember, it's triggered something within us. When we recognize that we have been triggered, that something has triggered us, we can start to look inward at our trigger and take agency over how we feel. There you go. I do hope that helps. See you soon.